Welcome to TNT Outdoors. I'm your host, Scott. We got a really cool video for you today. I was actually out at our property last weekend doing some cleanup and shooting a little B-roll footage for an upcoming video. And specifically, I was doing some weed eating around our pond when, out of the corner of my eye, I caught some movement in the water. It was a snake, so I quickly put down the weed eater and I went and grabbed my snake tongs. And then I slowly eased up along the bank right next to the water. And I waited as he swam towards me, and eventually he swam right in front of me. And at this point, I assumed I was probably dealing with a juvenile cottonmouth, a.k.a. water moccasin, a very dangerous and venomous snake. I moved very slowly to get as close as possible to the edge of the bank. You can see it swimming near the edge of the bank. And bam! Snatched him up out of the water. It was so cool. And it wasn't until I had the snake out of the water and was able to examine it closer that I could verify that it was, in fact, not a cottonmouth. This beautiful girl, or guy, I'm honestly not sure if it's male or female, is a broad-banded water snake. Females have heavier and longer bodies while males have longer tails. So this may actually be a male. This snake is often mistaken for a cottonmouth. The banded water snake will even flatten out its body to appear larger, which makes him look even more like cottonmouths. Probably a great defense mechanism against other predators, but not so good when dealing with a human, because they are often killed just for that resemblance. However, there are a few identifiable traits that distinguish the broad-banded water snake from its dangerous lookalike. First of all, what you'll notice in the water is the venomous cottonmouth's body is more buoyant, and when in the water, you will see almost the entire body on top of the water. Whereas with a non-venomous water snake, you may only see the neck and head above water. And that could have been my first sign with this snake is, for the most part, its head and neck were only out of the water. There was a split second where it looked like its entire body was on top of the water, and that kind of threw me off. But for the most part, it was mostly underwater. Another important distinction are the pupils of the eye. You can see here the banded water snake has a very round pupil, characteristic of a non-venomous snake, whereas the cottonmouth has a cat-like elliptical pupil. Also, cottonmouths, being a pit viper, have a larger, more triangular head compared to the broad-banded water snake's more slender head. However, once again, as a defense mechanism when threatened, the broad-banded water snake will flatten its head, which can give it a more triangular appearance. While older cottonmouths tend to be darker and black in appearance, the juveniles can have more color variation and bands which can resemble the broad-banded water snake. However, the underside belly of the banded water snake has these beautiful checkered colorations, whereas a cottonmouth's belly is typically more of a solid cream color. And even though she's a non-venomous snake, we're going to go ahead and relocate this girl to a better place where she won't be eating our fish. If you live in an area with venomous snakes, I would highly recommend this Sawyer Extractor. It claims to be extremely effective in removing the poison from bee stings, wasp stings, as well as spider bites, and also for removing the venom from a snake bite. I've included a link down in the description box of this video where you can order one of these Sawyer Extractors if you'd like. They are very inexpensive and, in my opinion, well worth the investment. I actually have quite a few of these. I keep them in our bug out bags, I keep them in the automobiles, as well as obviously at our property I have a couple, so they are always available if we should need them. The basic principle of the extractor is that it creates a suction over the bite, which in theory sucks out the venom. It's got several different little attachments here for different sized bites or areas, or small one, I'm guessing probably for like a bee sting here. Let's just grab this big one here to kind of see sort of how it works. Let's assume I have a bite with two little fang marks here, and you would take it and cover up the entirety of the bite if possible, press down, and then just lower the plunger, and it creates the suction. See that? See it sucking out? So I assume, if I had been bitten and there was poison in there, I would think it would suck it out. There you go. But to tell you the truth, I don't know 100% if they work, because fortunately I have never had to actually use one of these on a snake bite. But in my opinion, just based on the suction it creates, I feel like it would probably be better than nothing, and I'd rather have it and try it than have nothing. Now, assuming it does suck some of the venom from a snake bite, I seriously doubt it would get 100% of it. So you would definitely still go to the hospital. You would definitely still need to go to the hospital. I view this as hopefully something that will lessen the amount of venom if I ever get bitten, so therefore it would give me more time to get to the hospital and potentially less damage done. So hopefully having this on hand, should I ever need it, hopefully we don't, but should we ever need it, will give a greater chance of a more positive outcome in the event of a venomous snake bite. That's why, in my opinion, these are a good investment as a just-in-case item. And actually, in the suburbs, just down the street from us, on the neighborhood kind of Ring app, they were talking about how they had actually seen water moccasins in the street in the community. So you just never know when you might see a venomous snake, which is why I keep these around, just in case. So if you or someone you love is a hiker, a fisherman, a hunter, just outdoorsman, or even a gardener around your own house, this would be a good item to have for them, for yourself, and make a great gift item. And if you're a prepper, I feel like this is definitely a bug out bag essential item. I have one of these in almost every one of our family's bug out bags. And speaking of snakes, here's a very relevant story of actually why you might want one of these Sawyer snake bite kits. A couple years ago, two friends were actually hiking in the woods, just hanging out, having a good time, having kind of a boys' day. We'll call these gentlemen Chad and Scott. All right, well, Chad and Scott were just hiking along, having a good time, going up this hill, and actually, Scott kind of had to use the restroom. So nature calls, and so they stopped, take a break, take a rest, and Scott went over into the bushes where he was going to relieve himself, number one. So as he was going to the restroom though, unfortunately, he was actually bit by a rattlesnake, and he knew that it was a rattlesnake. It's like everything happened all at once, like in an instant. He felt the bite, and then he could hear that telltale rattling almost at the same time. So he knew right away that it was definitely a rattlesnake, and he had been bitten. And he had been bitten in the worst possible place you can imagine. Obviously, he was using the restroom. He was bit on his private part. That's right. So obviously, he was freaking out. They were concerned. He yelled for his buddy Chad, and Chad came running over like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And he told him what had happened, and they were both like, "I don't know what to do. What do we do? We're out here in the middle of nowhere. We're hiking up this mountain here." And luckily, Chad had his phone with him, and he tried it, and he got a little bit of signal. And so he was able to get a call into 911. And he was talking to 911, and the operator was telling him, "You guys are just too far out. There's no way that we're gonna get an ambulance there. You know, we couldn't even get one to you in time. We can't get a chopper in there because the woods are so thick all around you. It's gonna be up to you to save your buddy's life." And Chad's like, okay, what do I do? What am I supposed to do? And the 911 operator's like, "Okay, here's what you do. You're gonna find where the snake bit your friend, and you've got to go and you've got to suck all that poison out with your mouth. And you got to try to do your best to get it all out. That's the only way you're going to save your friend's life." And Chad told the operator, said, okay, thank you so much. And he hung up the phone, and he went and checked on Scott, said, "Scott, how are you doing?" And Scott, obviously anxious, he's like, "Well, what'd they say? Like, you know, what do we got to do?" And Chad looked at Scott, and he was like, "I'm sorry, Scott. They said you don't die." Well, thank you for watching today. If you like this video, please do us a favor and hit that like button down below. And if you're not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well, so you can see more TNT Outdoors exclusive content. Once again, thank you and have a great day. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please consider hitting the like button. And be sure to subscribe for more TNT Outdoors exclusive content.